Hey, so I'd like to talk about my experiences being stealth, inside and outside of the fandom. Stealth is when a trans person does not openly talk about their trans status. I have only been out as trans as of the time this channel went live, and I'm still stealth in the other parts of my life. In some parts of the world, being stealth is very important to personal safety. I am very fortunate to live in Vancouver, which tends to be a lot more progressive. But then you still have transphobia. People still make transphobic jokes here. And then you get the real weirdos who just won't leave you alone about your voice or appearance. Like, oh, Steph, I love the way your voice sounds. It's so exotic. It sounds so deep. This kind of stuff makes me feel wildly uncomfortable, and it overlaps heavily with the casual racism that I experience. Some people, when they first start presenting, feel worried that someone's going to clock them. Clocking is when someone figures out that someone else is trans without them telling. I was very worried about clocking when I first started presenting as my gender. But as you progress through a transition and your confidence grows, clocking may become less of a concern for you. It does feel really weird when I get misgendered nowadays. Like, I feel I personally pass. Like, you get on a bus and the bus driver greets you with a sir, and I'm like, I don't think I look like a sir anymore. But then when I think about all the other words in the English dictionary that it could have been, there isn't another word that they could have used. Those kinds of gendered formal pronouns suck though. It's like they're exclusionary, they don't have really a proper gender neutral pronoun that you can use instead, and then they just end up making trans people feel uncomfortable. Calling out transphobia is still very tough for me. I think that calling out transphobia when you're stealth is a lot harder because you still have to worry about the possibility of you being outed by the fact you calling out transphobia. Calling out transphobia is not yet normalized. I can be in very LGBT friendly spaces and still hear transphobic jokes. And when I returned to the fandom, I was stealth here too. But it's amazing how much has changed since then. The fandom was not a safe space for me 7 years ago. I have to say one of the worst parts about being stealth in the fandom though is that I missed out on Pride Month. I did not get to celebrate Pride Month. I did not get a Pride Month commission done. And it's just so disappointing and frustrating because Pride Month is over now. I can't find these collections that people did of these portraits anymore. And even if I found artists who did these, I can't just go up to them and be like, hey, can you do that picture for me again? Can I have a Pride Month commission too? It's like, no, no, over. It's over. Pride Month is over now. Artists who do these kinds of collections only open for these types of commissions at certain times of the year. But as someone who used to be stealth in the fandom, I feel like it is still very hard to approach trans people. That is partly why I made this channel. I want to be a public figure in the community who talks about trans issues. So my main takeaways from this video. Stealth is not a viable option for all trans people, but if you have a space where you can safely be out, then I suggest taking it. Because honestly, being in a room where everyone gets to be themselves except you kind of really sucks. And just in general, the pressure of having to maintain stealth is a big burden. When you decide that you're not going to commit to that anymore, that's less work, less to worry about. Now, if you are cis, not trans, then take note of the transphobia that occurs in your communities. And even when there isn't any visible trans person around, please consider calling out transphobia. Obviously, don't speak over any trans people, but if you're in an opportunity to be an active ally, please consider taking it. This fosters healthier communities, and it helps any trans people who may also exist in that community but are stealth. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing so that this channel can grow. Hope to see you next week. Bye!